Okay, we're going to talk about how to graph a line. So when you're graphing a line, you want to look at what form it's in. So this one's in what's called slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b, or you could see it as y equals b plus mx. So the coefficient of x is your slope. So our slope here is 1, and I would put it as 1 over 1. Slope is a fraction of rise over run. Our upper number is our vertical movement, so that's up. Our denominator is a horizontal movement, so that's to the right. Or you could make them both negative. That's still positive, and that would be down and to the left. And then this here, that constant, is our y-intercept. So this is where we begin, B for begin, and M for move. So I'm going to start at positive 3. I'm going to go up 1, 1 to the right, up 1, 1 to the right, up 1, 1 to the right. Or I could go down and to the left. And I usually fill the paper with them, and then there's your line. Put the equation right on it. X plus 3. Over here we have a half x, which I'm actually going to make negative half x. So our slope is negative half. Now you can put that negative in the numerator, or you can put it in the denominator. Just never put it in both, because you know negative over negative is positive. So again, slope is vertical movement over horizontal movement. So negative here means I go down and to the right, or I could go up and to the left. And again, here's my B for begin, my y-intercept. So I'm going to start at 3. I'm going to go 1 down and 2 to the right, or I could go 1 up and 2 to the left. You want to keep in mind that lines, you read lines from left to right. So a line that has negative slope should be go down from left to right, and this one goes up. Now sometimes you see the lines in different forms. So this one here is what's called standard form. And you have a couple of options here. You can change to y equals mx plus b, or you can use the intercepts. And the intercepts is a good method if these numbers go into this one, which they do in this case. So I'm going to start with the intercepts method, and then we'll do it by changing. So the intercepts means, let's create 2 ordered pairs. Let's make the x 0 and then the y 0. So if x is 0, this whole term is gone. So negative 3 times what would be 12? That would be negative 4. And if y is 0, this whole term is gone. 2 times what is 12? So that would be 6. So then I go to 0, negative 4, and 6, 0. And there's my line. It's definitely easier with a ruler. So that's using the intercepts. An intercept is where you cross an axis. Or I could take it, and it's 2x minus 3y equals 12. I could solve that for y. So it means I would subtract a 2x from each side. And then make sure when you're dividing by 3, it has to be each piece by 3. So I get y equals negative 4 plus 2/3 x. Or you could have put the 2/3 first. So my slope is 2 over 3, up and to the right. And my y-intercept, my beginning point, is negative 4. So I would go to negative 4, up 2, 3 to the right, up 2, 3 to the right, and there's my line. So if it's not in slope-intercept form, you can change it. But a more efficient way, if you see that the 2 and the 3 go into 12, use the intercepts method. Now this one doesn't have either form, so you could do it with the intercepts, or I'm going to just say 2x minus 8 is 4y, and then divide everything by 4. So I get half x minus 2 is y. So there's my begin. B is negative 2, and my slope is 1/2, up and to the right. So negative 2, up and to the right. And you should put the equation on each time. You can put the 2x equals 4y plus 8, or you could put the y equals half x minus 2. And then there's 2 special lines. Those ones don't have both variables. So if the line has x and y, that means it's diagonal. It could have positive slope like these two. It could have negative slope. This one has negative slope. But if it doesn't have an x and a y, then it's either horizontal or vertical. Lots of different ways to remember. This is the one that's vertical. One way to remember is it's x equals 3. So it has to go through the x-axis at 3. So there's your line. Another way to remember is the little tick marks here that you draw on the x-axis are vertical. So vertical lines are x lines. X lines are vertical. Another way to remember is if you remember that this kind of line has undefined slope, which means zeros in the denominator. So you go 1 up and 0 to the right. So from this point I go 1 up and none to the right, 1 up, none to the right, 1 up, none to the right. And one more way to remember it is to think about an ordered pair where the x is 3. It could be like 3, 1. Or it could be 3, negative 2. And then you could picture those points in your head or sketch them. If I'm at 3, 1 and 3, negative 2, oh, that's a vertical line. So those are all reasons why an x line is vertical. And then similarly, a y line, this is going to be horizontal. It has to go through the y-axis at negative 2. There's no x in the equation, so it's not going to touch the x-axis. That's similar way here. There's no y in the equation, so it doesn't touch the y-axis. You can think about it, again, the little tick marks are horizontal on the y-axis. So y lines are horizontal. You can think about this would be y equals 0x minus 2. So the slope is 0, or 0 over 1. So from this point, I go none up, 1 to the right. I don't go up, I go to the right. No up, go to the right, and that's horizontal. Or you can think of some points where the y is negative 2. So the y has to be negative 2. Like 0, negative 2, and negative 3, negative 2. 0, negative 2, negative 3, negative 2. That's horizontal. So y lines are horizontal, the opposite of the y-axis. This is our y-axis. This is our x-axis. X lines are vertical. So a lot of different ways to remember that.